I'm Mike Taylor with Red Door Real Estate and also Red Door Property Management. Speaking to kids, I've got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and of course they decided to get up, take turns getting up last night, kept me up till about 5 in the morning. So if I start babbling, I'm just tired and not crazy. Okay? No, not that crazy. My experience is maybe just a little bit different than these other guys up here. I, like Shannon, thought it would be a great idea to start a real estate company in 2007. I went the traditional route of residential real estate, and was just by myself for just a little bit as just a kind of a one-man shop. Added a couple agents, had a couple teams going, and about 2010 started getting all of these calls. I would answer my phone. Hey, this is Mike. Oh, hey, I'm calling about the rental. It's like, and after about 500 of those calls, I thought, hey, maybe there's something here. So started dabbling in it, and had about 10 or 12 rentals. And I thought, wow, this sucks. This is a lot of work. My phone's ringing off the hook with crazy renters, and owners want to know what's going on. And I thought, man, this is a lot of work. And so I said, I've really either got to make a push for this or get rid of this, because this is just sucking all my time. So 2011, 2012, we made a push to kind of become a full-time property management company and separate entity. We made a separate entity, have a separate website, so really kind of run it as 2 separate businesses. That's kind of my story. I found that at that small level of rentals, for me, it didn't make sense. Again, I know you guys asked me here to untapped income, but I'm just sharing my experience. What I experienced was that you really have to have a ton of properties to make it worth your while. That's what I found. And so we kind of made that decision to make the push and go for it and make it a full-time property management company versus just having 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 properties that we managed. In terms of being realtor friendly, yes, of course, we have a referral form that we always send the guys back to you if you do refer them to us. We do offer a referral fee of $500 for owners who you guys refer to us. If you guys say, hey, I want to do this myself, you guys go ahead and manage them. We'll offer a $500 referral fee to you guys for that. Gosh, I think that's about it. I want to try to keep it brief because I know we've only got a little bit of time and a lot of stuff to go over. So.
I could talk loud. Just keep it down there. Okay, something that, obviously there are a lot of different parts to this puzzle. For some of us, it's that phone call, and then we see it's 10% first month's rent. And it's relationship building. So maybe we're going to pick up a tenant now, and maybe they're going to buy in a couple of years, because maybe they just themselves come out of a short sale or foreclosure, so we want to have that relationship. But I grew up in, my family's business is, in fact, management, property management, rental owners. So what do you do at 2 in the morning when you get the call that the toilet is overflowing or there's a burst pipe? Now, all of you are going to have a different perspective on that based on how you set up your business model. So what do you that's my first scary scenario. Number 2 is, how do you deal with tenants who need to be evicted? So just a brief summary. How do you, in your business model and how you work, how do you address those 2 things? The middle of the night emergency call, and then when you have somebody that you thought was great and now they need to be evicted?
Maintenance is can be a real problem, and it's definitely a big piece of the puzzle. In terms of midnight emergencies and things like that, there's only a couple that are going to require, a middle of the night call, going to be heat or burst pipe or something like that. We give them a series of numbers to call, and worst case scenario, we give them the vendor to call directly for a 24-hour service. So that's how we handle middle of the night stuff. In terms of evictions, we work closely with an attorney, and if somebody's late on their payments, we bring the owner in quickly to the fold, let them know what's going on, and let them make the call to evict or not. Our stance is if somebody's just totally radio silent and doesn't say anything, no phone calls, no emails, no, hey, I got laid off and I need a couple weeks, just not calling, no response at all, then we encourage the owner to move swiftly. As I mentioned, we just turn it over to an attorney, and they can handle everything, get somebody out within 30 or 45 days. Typical cost on that to an owner is going to be, kind of depends, but I don't know, 500 to 750 bucks, something like that. Of course, we just pass that cost on to the owner.
I've found on my phone, there's a button that you can push that'll turn it on to vibrate so that you don't hear those calls at 2 in the morning, and that's worked very well for me over the years. Yeah, when they're my home properties, obviously I've got 2 numbers. I have an HVAC guy and I've got a plumber that I give the numbers to my tenants, and we'll tell them these are only emergencies. If there's water flowing somewhere that you can't stop or your heat's out, then you can call these. Otherwise, call me after 9 in the morning and we'll come and take care of that. I think as someone, if you're going to be a property investor yourself, you have to have some ability to be handy with some things. I've learned over the years, like I love gas furnaces better because there's moving parts, and moving parts you can tell it's easier to fix. If it's not moving, you know that's broke. So it's easy to replace that part and get it fixed. Electronic, it could be anything. But I haven't had any like toilets overflowing at 2 in the morning ever. So have problems and things that come up, but they're normally things that can wait during business hours and we can take care of. I put in all my leases any repairs under $100 that the tenant is responsible for. That keeps them from calling me when the light burns out, and all they have to do is change the light bulb or something minimal. Garbage disposals are terrible things if you have rental properties. If you have one, take them out. They don't need a garbage disposal because they'll try to put their entire trash, from their dinner table down the garbage disposal, and then plumbers love garbage disposals because it's the best calls for them. So if you have those, I take those out. What I recommend as well, anytime I buy a new property, at least for the first year, some I continue, or as they're older, buy home warranties. It's much easier than if there's a problem to your tenant calls, you give them the 800 number, and if the heat goes out, if something's going out, they call the home warranty company, they get the repair sent out, and they have my credit card number for the deductible. That's much easier to handle that type of problem.